Hello students! Welcome to our week 6 and week 7 of our science module. And today, last 3 topics na lang ang i-discuss natin at matatapos na natin ang second quarter natin for our science subject. So, nung last week, you've learned about reproduction wherein we have two types of reproduction which are sexual reproduction and asexual reproduction. So, nalaman nyo doon kung paano nagmumultiply ang ating mga organisms such as plants, animals, and of course, human. So today, we will be talking about ecological relationships in our ecosystem. So remember yung lesson natin about the levels of organization. So nagsimula tayo sa cell, sa pinakamaliit, pinag-usapan natin ng organism, at ngayon naman yung mas malaki which is all about ecosystem. So, makinig ulit kayo para masagutan nyo ang mga learning task natin for week 6 and 7. So, let's talk about ecosystem. So, as I have mentioned, we already discussed this in the levels of organization. So, in an ecosystem, kailangan magkaroon ng balance in our ecosystem. So, we have different factors to consider and can be found in ecosystem such as the what we call abiotic component, which are the non-living things, and we have the biotic component such as living things. So pag sinabi nating abiotic component sa ating ecosystem, ito yung mga component na non-living things such as water, we also have sunlight, we also have soil, rocks, air. Okay? So, lahat sila are examples of the non-living things or the abiotic component that we can be found in our ecosystem. How about the biotic component? So, when we say biotic component, these are all the living things. So, such as the plants. Okay? We also have the animals that can be found in our ecosystem. So, living things and non-living things are related or have the significant relationship to one another. Kasi kapag wala si abiotic component or non-living things, pwedeng maapektuhan si biotic component. For example, ang mga plants, kailangan niya ng sunlight, kailangan niya ng water in order for the plants to grow. Paano kung dumating yung drought o tagtuyot? So wala siyang makukuha na enough water para mag-grow siya ng maayos. So, naaapektuhan si biotic component kapag merong kulang or may kakulangan sa supply ng mga non-living things natin or ng mga abiotic component. So, kailangan magkaroon ng balance in our nature or in our ecosystem. So, these two are the components that can be found in ecosystem. So, let's look at the picture. Okay. May kasabihan nga tayo na no man is an island. So, ibig sabihin, we need one another in order for us to survive. Hindi tayo mabubuhay ng mag-isa lang tayo. So, kailangan natin ng ang nature natin kasi dito tayo kumukuha ng pagkain natin in our everyday. At kailangan din natin ng humankind, okay, ng kapwa natin tao para mabuhay tayo. So, that is why we have the what we call ecological relationships. So let's talk about the different types of ecological relationships. So in our ecosystem, meron tayong tinatawag na symbiosis. So what is symbiosis? The relationship which there is a close and permanent association between organisms of different species. In other words, when we say symbiosis, this is a living relationship of one another. Hindi lang sa tao, kundi yung interaction natin between our environment or our ecosystem. So we have different types of ecological relationships. First, we have commensalism. So what is commensalism? It is a type of relationship between two living organisms in which one organism benefits from the other without harming it. Okay? So, since tinawag siyang ecological relationship, lagi nang pinag-uusapan natin dito ay dalawa. So, sa commensalism, yung isa nagbe-benefit, yung isang organism, unharmed siya. Okay? Hindi siya affected or unaffected. Example, so we have the remora fish dun sa shark. So, yung remora fish, kaya siya nandyan sa gilid ng shark, ay para kainin niya yung mga leftover na kinain ng shark. So, ibig sabihin, nagbe-benefit si remora fish kasi nakakakuha siya ng food dun sa body ng shark. So, si shark, hindi unaffected naman siya. Okay, wala siyang pakialam kung nasa tabi niya si remora fish para kainin yung mga leftover food. Another example is a tree and an orchid or a flowering plant. So, dito, unaffected yung tree. O sabihin na natin na yan ay acacia or mango tree. So, unaffected siya, hindi siya naaapektuhan kung nasa katawan man niya yung mga flowering plants o example is orchid. So, yung mga flowering plants naman o yung mga orchid na nasa katawan niya ay nagbe-benefit. In what way? Nakakakuha sila ng support or shelter dun sa mga tree or sa malalaking tree kung saan sila nakakapit. Again, that is commensalism. One benefited, one is unharmed or unaffected. Next is mutualism. Okay, so mutualism is an ecological relationship where two organisms of different species work together, each benefiting from the relationship. So kanina, one is unharmed and one is benefited. Dito, both organisms are benefited. Pareha silang nakakakuha ng benefit. Example, okay, we have the bird and the crocodile. So, nagtataka kayo, bakit kaya yung crocodile, hindi niya kinakain yung bird? So, ano bang ginagawa ng bird sa loob ng bibig ng crocodile? Ang ginagawa ng bird, tinutuka niya o kinakain niya yung mga natirang pagkain ng crocodile. So, nagsiserve yun as food dun sa bird. Ito namang si crocodile, nagbe-benefit din siya. Bakit? Natatanggal yung mga tartar o yung mga leftover food na nasa ngipin niya or nasa bibig niya. So, in that case, magiging hawaan siya sa pakiramdam sa bibig niya. So, they both benefited from one another. Next is a butterfly or a bees and the flower. So, they both benefited in the sense that yung bees or butterfly, nakakakuha siya ng nectar from the flower that serves the as food. And yung flower, nag-benefit din siya in the sense that yun yung time niya para mag-bloom at magparami. 'Di ba? Kasi through sipping the nectar, nakakapag-pollinate siya at pwede rin siyang magpadami ng species niya. So they both benefited. That is mutualism. Next one, we have parasitism. So parasitism is a symbiosis in which one organism, the parasite, causes harm to another, that is the host. So in parasitism, we have the parasite and the host. So we have ectoparasites and endoparasites. So pag sinabi nating ectoparasites, they live on the body surface of the host. Okay? So ibig sabihin nandun lang sila sa surface or nasa katawan lang sila ng host natin. Kaya tinawag na ecto because ecto means outside. Pag sinabi naman nating endoparasite, endo means inside, which may be either intercellular, pag sinabing intercellular, inhabiting spaces in the host body. Okay, nasa loob na ng katawan ng tao or ng host. Or intracellular, inhabiting cells in the host body. So, yung inter sa spaces inside the host body, yung intra sa cell mismo. Okay, anong example ng parasitism? So, dito sa parasitism, yung parasite ang nagbe-benefit at ang naha-harm or ang affected ay yung host mismo. Okay. Example, tick and for example, tick and human hair. Okay, yung mga tick and lice natin sa head natin or tick ng mga animals. Okay? So, ang example netong tick natin and lice sa tao or human hair or sa animals ay tinatawag nating ectoparasite kasi siya ay nasa surface lang ng katawan ng host. So, dito ang parasite ay yung mga tick or lice at ang mga host ay yung head or yung tao mismo or yung animal. So, ectoparasite kasi nandun lang siya sa surface, okay, ng katawan. And then we have the tapeworm. Okay, tapeworm, for example, inside the human body, okay, sa tiyan natin, sa stomach. So, ito naman ay endoparasite, okay, kasi nasa loob siya mismo ng katawan ng host. So, dito makikita rin natin na ang harmed ay yung host at yung parasite mismo ang nagbe-benefit. So, they are called parasitism. Next ecological relationship, we have the competition. Okay, competition is the interaction between two or more organisms in which both species are harmed when resources are in short supply. Okay, both species can be harmed kapag ka ang supply in an area or in an ecosystem ay merong shortage or may kakulangan. Okay, often results when organisms occupy the same niche or yung shelter. And then results are starvation, fighting, death, and could be even be elimination of species. So from the word itself, compete. They are competing for food, for shelter, for water kapag yung supply in an area ay nauubos na. Okay? So example, okay, we have here two animals competing for either food or shelter. And the other example is this picture. So, both hyena competing, pwedeng sa female hyena, okay? Dun sa kapartner nila, pwedeng nagko-compete din sila doon. So, nagkakaroon ng competition kapag may shortage sa mga supply ng food, ng water, and other resources. So, ang masasabi ko rito, hindi lang siya sa animals pwedeng mangyari. Pwede rin siyang mangyari sa atin, sa tao. Okay? Kapag meron tayong kakulangan, or shortage sa supply ng mga pangangailangan natin, we are also competing for our resources. Okay? Ganon din minsan pag nasa classroom, di ba? You are competing with your classmates kasi minsan gusto mong maging top 1 or maging rank 1 ka. So, competition, that is another ecological relationship. Dito sa competition na banggit kanina, the both organisms are being harmed. Kasi yung isa, sugatan, okay? Yung isa, namamatay kapag hindi niya nakinaya makipaglaban ng isang organism. At naglilid to sa tinatawag nating predation. Okay? So what is predation? Predation is a biological interaction where one organism, the predator, kills and eats another organism, and that is the prey. So in predation, we have predator and prey. So of course, yung predator na tinatawag, ito yung mas malakas, mas malaki, at mas may kakayanan siyang kainin yung mas maliit na animal sa kanya. At yung mas maliit na animals na yon ay yung tinatawag nating prey. So yung competition, kapag ka nauwi yon sa sakitan or mas worse ay napatay ng isang organism, yung another organism, pwede niyang kainin yon at mag-serve as food. So kaya siya pwedeng mag-lead sa predation. Example, okay, so we have here. So, meron tayong mga nakita mga animals dyan that eats another animal, at kung mapapansin natin, yung mga animals na yun ay mas maliliit sa kanila. Okay? So, hindi naman siya magiging predator kung mas maliit siya. So, ang mga predator natin ay dapat mas malalaki para makakain sila or para makuha nila, makain nila yung prey nila. And they are all the types of ecological relationships. Again, our ecological relationships are competition, commensalism, parasitism, mutualism, and predation. So I think ecological relationship is very much clear to you, at alam kong masasagutan nyo ulit ang ating mga learning task na ipapaliwanag ko ulit sa ating next video. Bye-bye and good luck!